Finally got the car in the garage after a long winter. This thing just sitting on the grass out back. I got that trans brake valve body I got to put in, but there's a lot of other little stuff I wanted to do there. So new valve body's constant pressure valve body, so I don't need the throttle valve assembly anymore that goes to the trans. I might be getting rid of this whole schmozzle of just delete everything there. Run a super simple throttle linkage. Gonna be redoing this. This is that hillbilly thing I just built, drilled and tapped the banjo fitting. This is my fuel pressure sensor. But I think I might be deleting this factory fuel filter. I might just run some AN lines from my lift pump, maybe to a small inline filter and to the inlet. I want to try to delete and just get rid of more stuff. What else were we doing? Oh, you can see my front end setup. It worked out pretty slick. Now I just mounted these aluminum pieces to the frame, or to the engine. There's some really big locations on the block where there's actually some single motor mount applications that a motor mount bolts to both sides of the block, and it goes to one plastic mount right in the middle. So the front of the block is super beefy. I got barely any weight hanging off of it anyway. It just supports the radiator and the fan. But it's cool because I can take the nose off now, and this actually sits in under the bumper and actually holds everything up to that height too. Helps support it. What else are we doing? We got our Team Z steering column we're going to be putting in. So getting rid of this factory steering column. I want to move these switches. When I'm sitting in the seat with my seatbelt on, I can't get at any of that stuff, which is kind of lame. Because when I'm racing, I'd like to be able to just sit back in my seat, have all the controls within grasp of my hands, so I don't have to. Currently, I keep one seatbelt loose, one shoulder belt off as I'm rolling up, and then.
And you're gonna have like a launch.
Yeah, we're gonna have a button to launch for sure. Trans brake, boom.
So you don't have to like press on the brake the whole time.
No, we don't got to do foot brake anymore, man. We're gonna be launching on a button. What else? All right, I'm gonna be doing the SN95 knuckle and the aluminum PBR calipers, they're called, that come on the 99 and up Mustangs. We're gonna be doing that. Drop some weight on the brakes. I'm using the 99 and up knuckle, so it actually, the attachment point for the tie rod on the 96 and up is actually about an inch lower. Because on the mod motor engines, they drop the rack location almost an inch, so the location here dropped an inch. So anyway, that's gonna help me, because I still got kind of a crappy tie rod angle because I got my rack lowered. So with the lowered position of the knuckle, that comes with the brakes that I'm doing, that's all gonna kind of work together. What else are we gonna do here? Just kind of gonna clean everything up. I've been thinking about maybe putting an intercooler in this thing, maybe just a front mount air to air.
But Daddy?
Yeah.
I just want to sell this, the front, and this.
You want to sell the front and then just drive it like that?
Yeah. Except with this sticking out? No.
Yeah, we'd cut that off. I kind of like it, dude. I kind of like your idea.
It looks good with the big back wheel.
Yep. So anyway, I was just looking at simplifying everything on this car, just cutting some weight where I can. I'm still running the vacuum pump. I made a little plate to delete the power steering thing so it keeps the oil in. Still got the vacuum booster. That's one thing I could do. I could get rid of the vacuum pump. I could get rid of the vacuum booster and go to manual brakes. I think I might leave that for now though. I need to find stuff on a budget. Parts that are cheap. So graded heater, I'll probably gut the graded heater. And again, I was thinking about maybe going intercooled, so this tubing might come down. I also have this Ford Power Stroke water to air intercooler. It's super tiny. You know, like I even thought of maybe running that back in the cab. I could have a water box. I could have I could do that whole setup. I don't know if I'm gonna do that right now. We might just run a simple air to air, but the amount of time and everything it takes to build stuff, sometimes it's like it's better to just jump to the final, whatever's gonna be the best. Like, I almost don't want to do anything right now because it would be slick to have a air to water in the back. Again, move more weight to the back or add weight to the back essentially that way, because I don't even have a front mount intercooler. Still running the lightweight aluminum wheels that come from the newer Mustangs. What else are we gonna do? Currently I'm just using the external gate, but we're to the point where that gate's not, it's not controlling it anymore. I got too much, there's too much exhaust gas blowing out of this engine, so no problem though, because I got an internal gate on this one that I've just had wired shut. So this and the internal will now handle the wastegate, what I need for gate capability, so that'll be quite a bit. The positive air shut off is kind of neat, safety wise for a diesel. If anything goes sideways, close that off. What else? Trans cooler. I just kind of threw this up here. It's kind of crappy having a trans cooler in front of your trans, because if you ever have to drop your trans, you're always moving it back. And if you have a trans cooler up front, your lines, everything's probably zip tied nice and tight. If you have the trans cooler in the rear, the trans normally can be unbolted, slid back with pretty minimal undoing of your hoses and lines and stuff, because you'd be moving your trans closer to the trans cooler. That would move a little bit of weight to the back. If I needed, I could put an electric fan on there, but this converter it's a lockup. The 47RH diesel transmission I'm running is a 4-speed with a lockup converter. So once the converter's locked, man, we don't make any heat in that trans. It's ice cold. And yeah, I make some heat when I'm drag racing, especially now with the trans brake, I'll be able to make some heat, but we'll see how that works out. What else are we gonna do?
Nothing.
Oh, I got the...
I really like these ones.
Yeah, those wheels are pretty cool. I like them.
Except the front ones. No.
Front ones don't maybe look the best, but they are cool because they're so lightweight.
The back ones do.
In the back, we're going to be doing a Team Z anti-roll bar. That's going to get welded in. I got that last fall. Team Z steering column we're going to be doing. I think I said that. Going to try to find a nice steering wheel for it. Again, all these switches, I'm gonna have to move that stuff. I want it closer to me, so it might be somehow in the center. And my gauge, the 14-in-1 gauge, I know it looks so tiny, but once it's lit up, man, it works good. And that little thing data logs. So on the aftermarket steering column we're getting, I think I'm gonna mount it real close, just behind the steering wheel. So it'll be sitting in this location. And that'll be cool. Again, I can touch the buttons from the steering wheel. I don't have to loosen off my seat belts to be able to reach forward to tap on something or touch something. What else? That's about it. I'm just looking to just clean it up even more, get rid of stuff that we don't need. Like I say, get rid of all this stuff here. Factory fuel filter housing. Just open everything up, makes it even easier to work on, which it already is ridiculous how wide open it is compared to a diesel truck. But what other upgrades? Yeah, this radiator worked amazing. Pulling that trailer, Miles of Mayhem last year, it was hot, man. It was 32, 34 degrees. This thing stayed at like 178 degree on water temp. 178 to about 184. No matter what I was doing, it didn't matter. Pulling, parked, idling. This combo actually worked really well. The diesel doesn't consume a lot of fuel when it's just sitting there idling, so there's not a lot of BTU that we have to scrub with the radiator. So, what else? That factory alternator worked pretty good in its location. Probably just gonna leave it the same. Motor mounts, everything was good. What else? Oh, one thing I did want to do. well, this is down the road. I won't even talk about that. Right now we're good to 10 seconds in the quarter mile with currently what I have. The roll bar that's in there, all the different SFI certified, like flex plate, harmonic balancer, the aftermarket axle shafts, the studs. We kind of have everything we need to be going as fast as 10.0 at 135 miles an hour. So if you've been watching this car though, we've already run 136 miles an hour. I know it was a 10.6 second run, but that mile an hour, going 136 miles an hour in a car that weighs about 3,250 pounds with me sitting in the seat, we got a car that's capable of about a 9.9 seconds in the quarter mile. So anyway, this year is just going to be optimizing, deleting, fine tuning, just simplifying. If I can cut some weight on the car, I will. Getting that trans brake set up. With the trans brake, a whole bunch of other stuff is going to start to show itself. Like my rear suspension, I'm not hitting it too hard right now. I'm leaving like at 4 pounds of boost, which is basically just off idle with the diesel. So I'm not really putting anything to work. I'm not really stressing out any rear suspension stuff. I'm not really testing. I'm not really putting to work my suspension geometry. Like leaving at 4 pounds of boost is nothing. Like it's easy to hook. But once I start leaving maybe at 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds of boost, then we're gonna have to really start fine tuning our rear suspension geometry. But I'm already kind of in the ballpark where I know I need to be. TZ Motorsports is super helpful with all that stuff, and just reading online and over the years, there's lots of info that a lot of quick racers have shared on suspension geometry. I could go on and on, but there's where we're at. Some lightweight, it's a 1999 and up car that I got the brakes from, so that's going to be one of the biggest ones. Aluminum caliper. We're going to drop some weight there on the front end. Getting rid of all this bracket assembly that was sitting there. This throttle position sensor is kind of cool, and I could use that for a lot of things, but this whole assembly is just so complicated for throttle, so I'll probably incorporate a TPS somehow in the new linkage I build. It's neat to have a throttle position sensor for one day if I'm data logging some stuff, or nitrous control. Who knows? You can have an engine management system that is reading TPS to arm things or trigger things, or you name it. So I know this is kind of a barnyard build and it's all mechanical engine, but one day we're gonna have some cool stuff that's gonna be running a lot of things here. Anyway, that's the update. We out of here.
Lunchtime.
It's lunchtime? Okay.